NASCAR returns to Indianapolis this weekend with the Brickyard 400 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Two Hoosiers, Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart, are coming off 1-2 finishes at New Hampshire and look to continue their success here at the Motor Speedway. Greenfield native and current Minnesota Twins prospect Kyle Gibson was back in his home state tonight as the Rochester Red Wings took on the Indianapolis Indians. With the current lockout looming over the NFL, no city has more riding on a settlement than Indianapolis, the host of the Super Bowl in 2012. Midway through the season, Larry Bird and the Indiana Pacers decided to fire coach Jim O'Brien and promote Frank Vogel to interim coach. After a successful second half of the season and a berth in the playoffs, Larry Bird chose to renew Frank Vogel for the 2011-2012 season as head coach. I'm here at Great American Ballpark where we're about to get underway with the RBI East Regional Championship game between Indianapolis and Detroit. Indianapolis comes into the game 3-0 and is looking for their first RBI East Regional Championship. I'm here with Angelo Jones, coach of Detroit RBI. Angelo, I guess first of all, just kind of playing on a big stage here in MLB ballpark, what was your message to the kids today? Just moments ago, NFL owners and executives met here in downtown Indianapolis at the Westin Hotel to discuss the current labor dispute. Suspensions for Terrell Pryor and his 4 teammates for what the NCAA deemed violation of its preferential treatment bylaws were ultimately decided upon here at the NCAA headquarters in Indianapolis. In 2008, Michael Phelps won 8 gold medals in Beijing, bringing his total to 16. Next year in London, he'll look to add to that total. But this week, he'll be swimming right here at the IUPUI Natatorium in Indianapolis.
Volquez delivers. And that's lined softly into left field, a base hit. The Indians have their first hit of the game.
For most baseball players, reaching the major leagues is the ultimate goal, but only a select few make the big leagues. For a player like the newest Indianapolis Indian, Anthony Norman, just playing at the highest level of the minors is a blessing. Norman was undrafted out of college and played only sparingly while at UCLA.
College on, I went to UCLA with was recruited by Gary Adams, and he was there for 30 years. And after they retired after my sophomore year, and kind of put me in a tough situation with a new coach and his recruits. Didn't get to play much after that, and then didn't even get drafted, so it was pretty bummed about that.
But Norman persevered and was signed by the Los Angeles Angels in 2007. After being released by the Angels and a stint in the Independent League, Norman has a new opportunity in the Pirates organization.
This year was a whirlwind, started off and extended and had to stay throughout the whole time, and then went up to AA, and I know the manager really well and played pretty well, and then now I'm here and I'm just doing what I can.
The road to Indianapolis has been a tough one for Indians outfielder Anthony Norman, but he worked his way through the minors, including a stay in independent ball, and has now made it to the AAA club. His road has been hard, and it's something that's not lost on his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a tough road, but and he's got everything you need though. He's an unbelievable guy. A good head on his shoulders. Great teammate, and a great guy to be around.
So as each year goes by, I go home and start polishing up stuff and learn new stuff, and which is cool is that some of the guys that I started off in college with, those recruits that were really good or supposedly better than me, I continued to rise a little bit, and luckily enough, I'm continuing to rise with the opportunities that the Pirates have given me.
Good evening, I'm Brian Buckey with your IUPUI Sports Update. After 4 long months of negotiation, the end of the NFL lockout finally appears to be approaching. Lawyers for both sides met today in New York as negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement continue to progress. On Thursday, NFL owners have set up a meeting in Atlanta where both sides could ratify a new labor contract if agreed upon. The NFL reportedly alerted all 32 teams, telling them to send key executives to the meeting. Colts owner Jim Irsay says the Colts are, quote, preparing for any scenario. On to basketball, Frank Vogel has finally decided who will complete his coaching staff. The Pacers officially announced today that they have hired Jim Boylan as the team's 3rd assistant coach. He will join new associate head coach Brian Shaw and longtime assistant Dan Burke on the Pacers bench next year. Most recently, Boylan was head coach at the University of Utah after serving as a longtime assistant for the Houston Rockets, where he won 2 championship rings. Earlier this week, Tony Stewart said his team could not afford many more mistakes as they may be on the outside looking in when the chase field is finalized in September. This weekend was a good one for the Stewart Haas Racing, a dream weekend for a pair of Hoosier drivers at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart began the race in first and second and finished the 301 lap race exactly how they started it. Newman owned the lead for the last 72 laps and held on to pick up his first Cup win of the season. Next up, the two Hoosiers returned back home to Indiana, where they will race in the Brickyard 400 on July 31st at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For IUPUI Sports, I'm Brian Buckey.
Got to be ready. Don't be scared. You got to pivot, you got to get out there, and you got to lay it down.
This is the jersey for the 12 and under Indianapolis Pirates. The Pirates will be traveling to Phoenix as part of the Junior RBI Classic, July 8th through 12th. They will be one of 9 teams participating in the tournament. As part of the tournament, they will have the chance to attend all-star festivities, including shagging fly balls in the outfield during the Home Run Derby and attending the Futures game. Play Ball Indiana Executive Director Mike Lennox talked about the unique opportunity for these 12 kids.
For a lot of them who can't afford to play in travel ball or can't really afford to go to these big tournaments, this is a big deal. They get a chance to represent their city in a big-time tournament. We've had kids that have gone to Canada for the first time. We've had kids that have left the city of Indianapolis for the first time, been on an escalator, been in a hotel. I think the funniest story is a few years ago, one of our girls saw a cow for the first time. In her 15, 16 years of life, she had never left the city of Indianapolis and had only seen a cow on TV until RBI baseball and softball came around. Then she got to see it for real.
Yeah, one kid I was taking him home the other day, and he goes, "Coach," he goes, "I really don't know about the plane trip." And I said, "Well, what do you mean, Hunter?" He goes, "Well," he goes, "I've never been on a plane." He goes, "Man," he goes, "I'm scared." I said, "It's going to be all right, buddy." I said, "I'm scared too."